Hey there. Welcome back to the Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast. Chris, should we tell people how to join the tour?
Of course. Whether you're a seasoned member or just tuning in to learn more, we're here to help you dive into the ins and outs of the tour. If you've been on the fence about joining, there's no better time than now. It's a fantastic way to play competitive golf, meet other passionate golfers, and step up your game.
Registration is open. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership dues.
And if you want to keep up with all things Golfweek Amateur Tour, make sure you're subscribed and listening to the podcast on your favorite platform. Don't forget to download each episode, share it with your golf buddies, and if you're enjoying the show, drop us a like and a review. Your feedback helps us grow the community and reach more golfers just like you. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get into today's episode.
Welcome back, Chris. It's mid-June. U.S. Open's over. Hope everybody had a happy Father's Day. Whether we forgot to wish everybody happy Father's Day or not. Hope everybody had a happy Father's Day. But like I said, it's middle of June, and we're just steamrolling right along through the season.
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked before, it's once every tour starts their season, you blink twice, and then we're at the award ceremony for directors.
Yeah.
So it goes by pretty quick. I think now that you and me have been doing this for a while, it goes by a little bit quicker.
Yes.
I feel like we just booked and did interviews, and we're already booking for the next 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's before you know it, season's over, which is sad, but also nice for us directors in kind of weird way.
Yeah, and let's talk about this a little bit in the closing. But from the standpoint of when we started this, 3 or 4 years ago, we didn't know it was going to turn out like this. But if everybody doesn't know, I do another podcast, for the speaking and coaching business. And I was a guest on another podcast, and we were actually talking about this one. We were actually talking about the Golf Week one, and the way that it's kind of evolved for us and for the tour, and how our season goes. It's completely changed how I view the tour season.
Mm-hmm.
The way we have to look at it, the way we have to plan for it, and
Right.
some of those other things. It's not bad. It's good. It's just different. And it's to me, on one hand, it's fun because you and I know some of the things that we have coming up that most people don't know about yet, and how we plan for that. So it's good, but it just makes things go by so much quicker.
Right. It really does. And from the director standpoint, and you understand this, we make our schedules end of October, November for the new year, at least the guys that start early. When you think that's all the work that's done, but no, it leads up, the week leading up to it, event information emails. Hey, I know registration closed. Can you squeeze me in? Contacting courses to see how it's going. Go visiting courses. Like it does take time, and before you know it, your events fly by, and you're awarding your own members, their rewards, and then you're planning nationals trips, and it's crazy how quickly it goes. I mean, when this episode airs, I'll be heading over to Arizona twice in a 20-day span, which is crazy for 2 events.
You can't just stay over there.
No.
You could.
See, well,
I don't know if
here's
you
the
have
thing.
I don't know if you have a place to stay when you got back, but you could.
No, I'm taking them with me. But
Okay.
one, I mean, it just happens that I got sick for one of my majors and couldn't make it. So I have to go make up those points, and the closest tour that has a major at a private country club in Sedona,
Do what
shucks.
you gotta do. Yeah, do what you gotta do. All right, well,
But
we got a really good episode this time, like always. But let's go ahead and get started. We'll finish this up here.
I know we will.
All right, bud. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Golfweek Amateur Tour proudly presents Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast, talking about all things Golfweek Amateur Tour, including interviews with tour directors, players, and course professionals. Now here are your hosts, Tim Newman and El Paso Las Cruces Tour Director, Chris Rocha.
Chris, welcome back to the post-Father's Day edition of the best Golfweek Amateur Tour podcast that's ever been. How you been?
You good? How about yourself?
Doing awesome. Did you enjoy Father's Day?
I did. I'm exhausted, but it was a fun time. It's always a fun time. Great
It is.
U.S. Open. Not better than the Masters, but it's still great.
Oh, don't why do you have to start already? I mean, we're just getting in this. Why you got to be this way?
Because I have to.
That's just wrong, man. That's just wrong. Everybody knows that because U.S. Open is played on Father's Day, that our national champion is crowned every Father's Day. It's our national championship. Anybody can win it if you qualify.
If you qualify, that's the key.
If you qualify, anybody can win it. So, come on now. Anyway, we got a great one again this week.
Best one yet.
Best one yet. Now, before we get into it, I do just want to make sure. I can't remember if we wished everybody Happy Father's Day last time, but if we didn't, the post Father's Day, Happy Father's Day, maybe will save us just a little bit.
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's as bad as the Mother's Day that we keep missing. So
No, oh my gosh,
I think we're okay there. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fathers that play golf on our tour, and you bring their sons out to play. So Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah, and we do have a really good episode this week. We've got our May Member of the Month, which again, it was real close. And we'll talk about this after our guest. But we got May Member of the Month. We got Roger coming back on. He's going to talk about some club throwing incidents and how we're going to stop that, or if we're just going to encourage it. I don't know what we're going to do.
Right.
And talk about a few other things. Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's do it.
So let's just go ahead and bring in our May Member of the Month, Ryan Nicholson, and his tour director, Amal Irudayaraj. Say it for us, Amal.
Irudayaraj.
Yeah, there you go. We got it.
It's been Amal as long as I've known him. There's no point in even trying. So
every once in a while I get it right. Every once in a while I do.
I copied and pasted it to put it in my phone when I first met him. So it doesn't. There's no point in going any further.
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. And Ryan, congratulations on being the May Member of the Month. Amal says some very nice things about you, and I'm just going to go ahead and read the nomination that he sent in. And as I'm doing this, understand that Chris and I aren't the ones that pick this. What we do is we send them to Dennis. We take off all the identifying information, and then he makes a decision. Okay? And so as we do this, for those that are listening, one of the pieces of feedback that we got from Dennis was the write-up is so important.
Yeah.
The write-up is critical. And so, Amal, you did a really nice job with this because, there were some other really good nominations as well. So here we go. From Amal, I am nominating Ryan Nicholson for Player of the Month for May 2025. While my Indianapolis Tour is a small market, recognizing dedicated players like Ryan with this award could be incredibly impactful for our tour's growth and visibility. Despite our size, Ryan has demonstrated an exceptional commitment to playing and supporting golf across various levels. Throughout April, he actively participated in an impressive 13 rounds, including 3 regionals, 2 rounds on other tours, and 1 local tour event. His dedication to playing at such a high volume speaks volumes about his passion for the game. Furthermore, he has already signed up for our second Indianapolis Tour event on Monday, May 5th. That's already happened. And the third event on May 12th, showcasing his continued support for our tour. Beyond his participation, Ryan has been an outstanding promoter for our tour. His genuine love for golf is evident, and he consistently encourages others to get involved. For a smaller market tour like ours, having such an enthusiastic advocate is invaluable. While I don't have specific performance metrics from all his April rounds, the sheer number of events he has played, coupled with his active promotion, clearly indicates his dedication and impact. Recognizing Ryan with this award would not only acknowledge his contributions, but also significantly boost morale and awareness for the Indianapolis Tour. As the saying goes, the numbers speak for themselves in terms of his engagement and enthusiasm. I believe Ryan Nicholson is a deserving candidate for Player of the Month, and I urge you to consider his nomination. Winning this award would mean a great deal to our small market tour. So, Amal, you did a heck of a job with that. I don't know how much of it's true, but but you did a great job. So thank you for doing that.
No, absolutely. Amal, appreciate the nomination, and I'm sure we'll get into more details. But it's been a fun couple of months for sure.
So Amal, talk to us about Ryan and some of the things that he does, and the relationship with the tour that he has that's not on paper, because the paper stuff is great, but what we found as we've gone through and do this, it's really the relationships with these members of the month that has brought out the best stories.
So the nomination that I sent, when did I send? Last month, right?
Yeah.
Probably April second week or first week, I
Mhm.
don't remember. But at the time I was going through all this, my players in Indianapolis, how many
Mhm.
events they are playing, what they are playing, and then how many times I'm hearing from players, so to speak.
Right.
So that's what based on, and also when I am talking to, my players like Ryan, and then how do they communicate to me, other players, how do they react, during the tournament, everything. It's not just like, oh, he's playing 15 events. Yeah, in fact, he played the 15 events till May. I thought I beat him. I played 12 events, but he already played 15. So anyway, so it's not just a simple thing,
Mhm.
Tim and Chris. I observe, based on my observation, he deserved to be the,
Mhm.
player of the month for April. So that's my nomination. It's not just a one thing. He normally constantly texts me and asks, questions. And then sometimes I ask him, okay, hey, he's a member of one of the clubs. And then I ask him, okay, hey, what is the, team Marcus colors?
Mhm.
What do you think we should be playing from? All
We don't
those
always
things. So,
agree on all those things, though. That's the
right,
unfortunate
yeah, yeah.
part.
but we bounce, our ideas off of
Sure.
each other.
Right.
So
Right.
that really helps. It's not
Yeah.
like, one thing, as I said, it's based on my memory at the time. I was thinking through, a bunch of players in my tour. Then he stood out. So that's how I nominated Ryan. And then, as I said, wherever I go, he's there. I mean, I'm talking about traveling, whenever I go to play other tours, guess what? He's going to be, playing next to me. So,
He is stalking each other. There we go.
yeah.
Hey, Amal, I will start off by saying, great nomination, but stop considering yourself a small market tour, man. You got over 125 members, averaging 60 players an event. That's a medium-sized tour. Congratulations on that to begin with.
You say that, Chris, but still, I think it's a small market. Based on my view, that's what I think. It's a small market, and also the reason why I say that is a small market is we basically play, I don't know, 3.5 4 months. That's all we have. You know, so to speak. Like what? August is my last tournament, and then we won't be able to start until first week of May. And then there are so many holidays in between.
Right.
So if you think about it, there are only like 12 weeks in a year where I can run the tournaments. So that's the one thing. And also, even though you said 120 members and every time I'm getting 60, I would say I'm getting lucky. Okay, I don't know. For some, it's always, you know, hit or miss. This year, how many tournaments already we've been through? I forgot how many rounds. Anyway, 8 or 9 tournaments. All of them are sold out. My
That's
number is
good.
60 players max. Okay, that's what I talk to when I sign a contract with golf courses. I say 60 is the max. But all the events are sold out. I'm lucky this year.
Nice.
Okay, so but still, I consider myself as small market, because when you consider Hilton Head, Charlotte, or Michigan, they all have a 200, 300 members, right? And then every event they are, what is there? I don't remember how many players play in each and every event. 150 players, I guess. So that's huge. That's a big market. That's why I call myself as a small market. Indianapolis as a small market.
Well, I thought you were modeling yourself after the Pacers or something. That's why I thought you were saying that.
Settle down, settle
Oh,
down.
yes. No, that's true. Do you see what they are talking about? Pacers. They're a
Always
small
got to be the
market.
underdog. Yep,
So
always got to be
Yeah,
the underdog.
I like to be underdog all the time. Yes.
So Ryan, tell us about your time on the tour and some of the highlights that kind of stand out for you.
Sure. So I think this is my third full year playing events within this tour. I played for a few years prior to that with competing tours. And just to kind of throw some love of Amal's way, I actually was approached about running a competing tour at one point, and I know what it takes to take on the workload and spend your entire day, regardless of what your tee time is or what
Right.
your commitment on your round is, to be able to do the whole thing. I'm sure it's a full day, and so 60 guys is what, in my opinion, the minimum we should appreciate what Amal does by putting on these events. And so I know there's other tours in the within a couple hours from here, and I've gotten a chance to meet those tour directors, play a lot of their events as well. I have some family over in the Cincinnati Dayton area, so it's a good excuse to take the family over to visit with the in-laws for a couple hours while I go hit
Right.
it around.
Mhm.
So that gives me an opportunity to kind of spread out. I travel a little bit for work as well, so opportunities come up when I'm going to be
That's awesome.
traveling that I find something on the schedule to make sure I can get out and play. So.
Where's when you travel? What's your favorite tour to play on when you travel?
Well, so I mean, Cincinnati probably has one of the followings that I know a lot of the guys on that
Mhm.
tour. I've known Tyler for a long time, and
Okay.
got a chance to play with Tyler when we were out in Vegas at the regional at Paiute early in the year. Had a blast with him. Neither one of us played well in 30 mile an hour winds and 45-degree temperatures, but no, I had a good time with Tyler, and I mean, it really comes down to, is the tournament well ran, and all of so far that I've played have lived up to that expectation, and really what courses are we putting on the schedule.
Right.
And so when you look at something at the beginning of the year, regardless of the tour, you look at it and you say, okay, which golf courses are the ones that I want to
Mhm.
play? Like Amal said, I'm a member of one of the top country clubs here in the Indianapolis area at the Sagamore Club, and I can play there every single day, but I choose to go play some of these competitions
Mhm.
for the opportunity to play courses that I wouldn't necessarily play otherwise. So.
Well, and I'm glad you say that because as I'm looking at your schedule now, and Maul, I do agree with you that you're the small market from the time from your availability that you can play. I definitely give you that, but you've got some really good courses, and I'm just looking. You played Sagamore at Sagamore, then you played Blackthorn, then you played the Warren course at Notre Dame, which is a good course. You've got the Indiana, the IU course on there, which I've heard nothing but good things about that. You've got Purdue's course on there, again, which is another really good course. So you all are playing really good courses in Indianapolis. Right, let alone the ones that you're traveling to, right?
Right. Yeah, no, and as a Boilermaker, it was against my nature to think it was a good idea to go to Notre Dame and play up there. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to miss the foul course at IU this year, but for my health, it's probably better to stay as far away from there as possible. So I will be at camping in Ackerman at Purdue. There's no question about that. So looking forward to it.
What is
Yeah.
it? Is the foul course that wedding anniversary, birthday?
I don't know exactly why, but that one's I kind of go through at the beginning of the season and put together my list of what I'm going to do, and I must have had a pit feeling in my stomach when thinking about going to Bloomington. I try to avoid that place at all costs. So
Okay, I got you.
I won't make a lot of friends here in that regard here in the Midwest, but that's okay.
It
That's
happens.
funny, Ryan. That's a good one. So obviously, outside of that course, what's your and Sagamore, where you're a member, what's your favorite course that's on the regular rotation?
On the local tour, I really enjoyed the Warren course at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I unfortunately came up just short. There's a story behind that. I'll give you a quick one here. I had an opportunity to win that one sitting in the back of the flight, kind of being able to take a look at the leaderboard and understand where I was at. And I needed par on 18 to finish that one off. I hit a perfect drive and then let the nerves get to me just a little bit, and chunked a sand wedge from 85 yards from the middle of the fairway. End up making bogey and losing in the first hole of the playoffs. So
Wow.
soured me. I just attribute it to being a Notre Dame. Nothing good can happen up there in South Bend. So
You got to play like a champion, man. Play like a champion.
well,
No
I walked
excuses.
into their pro shop and I said, man, if I was a Notre Dame fan, this is a spectacular pro shop. They have anything and everything you could ever want. But it's not for me there.
Well, so I was there a number of years ago, and I am a Notre Dame fan.
I'm
And
sorry.
well, hey, settle down. Their practice facility and their players only lodge. I don't know if you've ever been in there. That
I didn't
place
go in there.
is that place is, I'm telling you, phenomenal. If I was any good at golf and younger, that's where I would go because I'd just hang out in that place. It's So I don't know if you've been to Harbortown for the icebreaker, and
I haven't played in
been-
that event. I've played down in a lot of golf courses in the Hilton Head area there on the island, and several in that area, but I have not been down for the Golfweek event.
so when we do that, they open up the bar area for in the players' locker room. Okay, that place is nothing compared to Notre Dame's team
Nice.
lodge.
Nice.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, so it really is good. So I want you to call somebody out too. Who's your favorite person to play with on tour?
Oh wow.
Me.
I've had a lot of opportunities to play with Don Hubbard this year. So Don and I share a little bit of history, both former baseball players. Don's
Okay.
based out of the Cincinnati Tour,
Okay.
and I think I've played 5 or 6 events this year down there. And I've actually requested. I know Amal loves when guys do this, but I requested to play with Don a few times, just to make sure that I enjoy my round. That's kind of the crapshoot that comes with this, right? Some days you like your pairings, and some days you're like, man, I don't know if I really want to play golf with that guy again. So it happens.
I understand.
That's a good point, Ryan. Yeah, players like you request for, hey, I want to play with this guy. Please put me with this guy. I respect that. Sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I can't.
Sure.
And also another thing is I cannot do it. I mean, that's a good question you're bringing it up,
Mhm.
right? It's not possible for me to put 2 guys every time
The same
in
place.
that foursome.
Sure.
Yep.
I try to avoid. And also another reason is this just happened last weekend. One of our tour player, okay, he come to play tournament. The other player is saying, "Hey, you are in the wrong place. This is not for you," because he doesn't know he's the tour player, our tour player. He's in C
Oh,
flight.
wow.
Other guy is in champ or A flight.
Oh wow! Right.
So they
Sure.
they don't know each other. So I'm thinking about mixing champ with A with B, something like that.
Sure.
So we have 125 members right now. So I would like to have everybody mix with every flight.
Mhm.
That's what I'm thinking. But my only concern is going to be it's hard.
It's an
You know,
intimidation
it's-
factor for some of the lower flights,
right,
I would imagine.
right.
Yeah.
If it is a D flight, they don't want to play with the champ. Even when I put them together, they are already thinking about, Amal, why are you doing this?
Well,
you
Mo,
know.
what I would do, and I did this for probably I did it probably for 10 years, is I created a team stable for format where it was still individual stroke play, where we
Mhm.
did a side tournament, no extra cost for anybody. I threw in money for all the prizes and trophies, and I random draw. You know, it could be champ. You could be a champ A, B, and D player, and so they got to know them. But it was also they didn't really have those types of feelings because it was still they were playing as a team for a competition, right?
Sure.
Um, and that turned out to be, one of the uh, most popular events we had.
Sure.
Always.
I was thinking of doing something
Mhm.
like that the very beginning,
Mhm.
like a two-man scramble. Just pick names from let's have a two pools,
Right.
champ A and B, and then C and D, something like
Mhm.
that, depending on the AGT index, and then pick from the at team, and
Mhm.
then let them play a two-man scramble. That's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
But once again, just like I said, I don't have enough weeks
Right.
where I can get those things done. But
Right.
back of my mind, I'm thinking about that also. Yes.
Well, and to
But
that point, so my
Mhm.
first win this year, actually down on the Cincinnati tour, down in at Hamilton Elks, I was a late sign up. Tyler needed somebody at the very last minute. I wasn't going to play. I talked the wife and kids into going and seeing some family for the afternoon. And when I ended up playing, I got thrown in the middle of the A flight, and so I played with folks that I had never played with before. And some people thrive on that. Some people would be intimidated by that. It
Right.
worked out well for me that day. But yeah, that certainly would be nice to meet a lot more of the guys. But I think there's a good group of guys on both Indy, Cincy
Yeah.
Tour, and others I've played with that you get done after the round. There's some guys that stay around for a beer, or
Mhm.
stay around to watch and see what's going on. So you know who the players are in the other flights. And if you're sociable, you can
Right.
certainly meet guys that way.
Yeah.
So the one other question I had for you, Ryan, how'd you like Firestone?
Firestone was epic. Firestone was other than the weather on day one, Firestone is
Weather
up
was
there with
fine.
some of my top courses. And it's funny, there's a story to that. I probably hit the ball as well as I've ever hit it for a full 18 hole round of my life on day one at Firestone, but I couldn't putt to save my life. I had 41 putts and
Oh.
shot, I think, in the high 80s. It just was one of those days where nothing would go in the hole, and it was a frustrating day in that regard. Then flip flop that, go to the South course, couldn't hit it nearly as well as I did, but I made the putts that I needed to on that day. So third place finish there wasn't what I was looking for. I think making the turn to the back nine, riding with the guy who was leading, making the turn, I was one back, and
Wow.
just kind of let that back nine fall apart. But that's easy to do up there. So
Yeah.
that's a golf course, both of those courses, that I could play every day, no question.
That's awesome. I'm still kicking myself that I missed that one.
Yep.
I Yeah. Thanks,
Mark
Chris. I
your
appreciate it.
calendar, Tim, and also
Yeah.
Ryan, next year at the
Well,
same time, same week, we are
well,
going
the
back.
issue is I had a family issue that came up that
Mhm.
the plan was for me to be there, but I had a family issue that it was one of those things that it was better for my health if I did not go. Uh,
Sure.
so
I actually got to use it a little bit as a corporate thing. So I'm in sales, and I have a customer in Columbus, Ohio, that is an avid golfer as well. And so I talked him into coming up and playing with me, and he had a ball. We got paired together in the first day by
Mhm.
request. Didn't play together in day two, but he had a great time on day two as well.
Nice.
Didn't play particularly well, but you talk about the difference between competitive golf and going out and playing with your buddies. He got on that first tee day one, and he walked off the tee box after not hitting his best drive, and he kind of was like, wow, that's a different feeling standing on the tee box when it matters, right? There's no
Exactly.
breakfast ball, there's no second shot here. You're playing for score already. So
Yep.
So Amal, with what you got left, and again, I still think you got a really good schedule. So good on you for the work that you're doing there. Um, what's the now, and you can't say French Lick because we're going to get into French Lick separately here. But what's the one can't miss tournament? I mean, for all those listeners out there, and they say, we're gonna go to Indy, travel to Indy. What's the one can't miss tournament?
Oh, I would say Purdue course. I like those both courses, Ackerman Allen and
Mhm.
Campen, because they are two different setups, layouts.
Okay.
Okay. So one is more like a parkland, another one is more like a link style.
Mhm.
One of them is really, really tough. First one is I play really good, so I call it as a little bit easier course. So I would suggest, yes, the Purdue courses are
Okay.
good one. It's a 2-day event. And also I have it on senior side and also both
Wow.
Golfweek side also. So
Well, that's a good get if you got it, for both events. Is senior 2-day event as well?
yes, senior also 2-day events. Yep.
Dude, that's awesome. That's again for a college course to give up 4 days like that. That's a good
Well,
job.
yeah, the important thing that we do, I
Mhm.
mean, like Ryan and all of our members. Okay, there are one or two. There is always exception, right?
Right.
All our members are wherever we go and play, they respect the course. Okay.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, I go and talk to the pros. They always say, "Hey, you guys are easy to handle. All
Yes.
I'm doing is giving you the card. You guys are playing, and then you guys are coming back. No
Yep.
complaints, nothing. So they always say that. I just want to go and ask them, okay, hey, give me your feedback, and then always they want us to come back. So
And Amal,
I think I'm lucky.
well, that's a tribute to you and the players, obviously, but or how well you run the events, right? Because
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
if because generally we are easy, just like you say, we show up, we bring everything. When they go off, they run the credit card, and
Mhm.
we come back in, they clean up the carts and go home. But part like you said is we're not tearing up the course. Hopefully, we've got decent pace of play, and we're coming in and we're spending a lot of money with them, and for them not to
That's
even have to do
yeah.
anything.
That's exactly what our members are doing.
Mhm.
They spend money. I tell them, okay, hey, this is what you're going to get. They are going to come and spend money,
Mhm.
eating, drinking, and buying your merchandise.
Exactly.
So they always have some racks, sale racks available for us, for our group, whatever the course we go and play. And then I make sure, they're going to keep that pro shop open even after, at least 1 or 2 hours
Mhm.
after our round is complete.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are the things I normally work with the courses. And, Monday we are going to be playing at the Chatham Hills. That's another country club. It's just like Sagamore. That's one of the premier courses in that same area. It's
Mhm.
hard to get in.
Yeah.
Somehow I got in. So when I get the opportunity,
You get on
I
it.
jump. Yeah, I get on it. That's all. So I don't know how I get it. I don't know how I get lucky to go into all these courses. But players ask me, hey, I want to go to this course. Okay, I will try. So sometimes I get lucky. I get in. Sometimes they say no. Sometimes I don't even hear from them. So that's
But
how I'm getting all those courses in my schedule.
again,
Well, and I
you're doing a
appreciate that.
great job.
I appreciate Amal
Go
with talking about the Purdue as being the highlight, but Chatham certainly is got to be up there as well. I mean, hosting a live golf event here in October, or I'm sorry, August. That's a place that is exclusive, private, and I would say 90 to 95% of the guys that are going to play out there are not going to get on otherwise, or unless they
Yeah.
have a connection somewhere. So
Mhm.
those are the type of events that when you're looking at that schedule at the beginning of the year, you say, okay, yeah, this is absolutely one I have to mark that I have to make.
Yeah, that's and again, that's good, good on you, Amal, for being able to pull that one off. But let's talk real quick about, French Lick. This is your 3rd year coming up on that, and I went out there last year, and that was one heck of a job. The courses were amazing, the staff out there was great, everything was top notch out there, so, again, if you haven't committed to it yet, I'm just telling everybody who's listening, that's the one you gotta go to. Well, what do you got?
Yeah, that's one of the courses, I always want to go and play those 2 courses, especially the Donald Ross. It kills me. I shoot like 100, and the next day, it works out. But Donald Ross course, I've been playing that course for a long time. Pete Dye, I did not play, but Donald Ross course, I've been playing
Mhm.
almost, when my son was in college, he used to go and play the course in the end of the season. He's got a age group championship or something when he was playing. Okay, so that's how I know those 2 courses. those are really, just like you said, Tim, you saw the course. Those two courses are really beautiful and awesome, well maintained, and the staff are really, really, really good.
They are.
Whenever they ask any questions, they always there to help me. And then if I ask them to do something, they immediately do it. I don't get any excuses or anything from them. They always appreciate our group coming and playing. So I'm very thankful for them, hosting us. This is our third year. Hopefully, I can keep on, keep this French League regional in our schedule for as long as I can.
Yeah, I hope so too. And let me just make one more mention on that. When I say the staff, it wasn't just the golf staff. I'm talking about the resort staff, the hospitality staff,
Yeah,
the casino staff. You got to go to the casino. Everything there was
top
really
notch.
top notch. It really was. Well, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I'm glad we got it worked out so it's not on game night. I'm talking about Pacer game night. Ryan, congratulations. And Ryan, will we see you at Hilton Head this year?
Certainly planning on it. Yeah. No,
buddy.
I'd like to make sure that I maintain that lead in the flight division there and get my schedule worked out to make that trip down. Looking forward to it.
Well, we are running out of time, but I was going to suggest you just bump right up to the B flight and knock out
Right.
the leader of the B flight.
That
would be my suggestion.
Yeah, Amal and I had a conversation earlier this year because that's where we started, and that's probably where longer term I probably want to be. But right now, I've accrued the points where I'm at, and so I'm like, okay, well now I got to decide which direction I want to go here. So we'll just keep playing golf, see where it lands.
All right,
There you
buddy.
go.
Well, you guys, again, thanks so much for joining us. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you,
guys.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Ryan. Bye.
Let's take a break from the show to hear about Srixon's ZX Mark II drivers.
ZX Mark II drivers are for major players, major winners, major power. All new ZX Mark II drivers, only from Srixon.
Well, Tim, another member of the month has been interviewed. We're making some great progress on it. But I mean, Ryan, he's played a lot of events, and for that tour to not be able to have that much time of golf, he's sure going out and making other events, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
one sneeze of a low score, and he's back in B flight.
Exactly. I like seeing that. Well, number one, I like seeing that he's playing, right?
Right.
I mean that to me is really where it's at, and that he's helping grow membership, and he's somebody that guys want to play with, and all those other things that we talk about. But I also like the idea that he's obviously right there on that cut line, and we didn't really talk about this, but I would probably say just go ahead and move now.
Right.
Just go ahead and make the jump. You lose some points, but you may end up losing even more the longer you wait, right?
Yeah.
And with maybe not as much time to make it up, and still be competitive in that in that overall points race, but just based on his personality and that little conversation we had, I don't think he's really that worried about the competition piece. I mean, he likes playing golf. He likes having fun. Obviously, the competition is there, but it's if you lose some points, you lose some points. No big deal. He's still going to play. He's still going to go out and compete and let things fall where they fall.
Oh, definitely. He's not one to shy away from playing some competitive golf. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's any problem.
It was fun, and yeah, I like having them all on. He's kind of funny in his own way. He I made that joke about the Pacers because I think that's really why he wants to be considered small market. He wants to consider himself the Indiana Pacers of the Golfweek Amateur Tour.
I mean, I was trying to let him know. I don't consider myself small market, maybe a medium market. And me and him, I was looking at his membership. We have the same amount, and we're averaging about the same per event.
Wow.
And I've been playing since the end of January, averaging that. So I understand where he's coming from, but I hate for our directors to feel like they're not doing their part or they're failing when
That's a good
actually,
point.
they're doing more than they think that they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah,
And
that's a really good point.
I mean, it's just because we're all together,
Yeah.
And if we're not all succeeding, then the tour's not succeeding. So,
Mhm.
I feel he's doing a great job. Setting a goal of 60 players an event and selling out. Some he had more than 60. So the courses are usually pretty happy about that when you get more than what
Mhm.
you're asking.
Right.
So, I don't consider him a small market, but if, like you said, if he wants to be like the Pacers and be considered a small market, then his room was painted yellow, so it might be that mindset.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Right.
But again, I mean, he's obviously doing a great job. He's got some really good courses. You're getting some of those private courses and getting this again. Getting those college courses for 2 days. I mean, even
That's
in the
tough.
summer, that's hard. That is
Right.
hard. Because
And
that's
they're not small colleges either.
no, they're not. And getting a college course like that, at least over here on the East Coast. I don't know what it's like, West Coast where you're at, but they're not giving them up. They're almost like private courses.
Right.
Yes,
They're
yes,
tough.
they bring in outside groups and they let outside play come in, but they're not giving up, you know, 2 days.
Right.
When I was the upstate tour director, trying to get on the Clemson course, very difficult, but we did. Trying to get on Furman, and I think Furman did away with their golf team, and I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong on that, but the Furman golf course, phenomenal golf course. Very difficult to get on. So it is what it is. But let's move on. We've got we've got Roger with us today. Again, it's been about a month or so, I'm glad he's
Been a
back
while.
on. Yeah. So let's bring Roger in. Roger, welcome back, bud.
Hello, gentlemen. Glad to be here.
Well, first off, happy Father's Day. Hope you had a good Father's Day.
Awesome Father's Day, except my daughter left town, my son wasn't in town, and my other son had plans too. So, yeah, I had a great Father's Day playing golf and didn't have to worry about the kids. No.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
So, yeah. But
well. It's I'm sure they were thinking about you and yeah, I didn't get to see my kids either.
they were thinking about me, and the biggest thing they did, they asked me had I lost my clubs lately. So, I haven't lost the club lately.
Oh man.
They're still
Oh
in the
gosh.
car.
Oh,
I did break a 7-iron between the last time I talked to you and now, so that's getting fixed. But everything's good on the club front. We're good. Yeah,
we're good.
yeah, very
Phew.
good. And I hope
Well,
happy Father's Day to you guys too.
thanks, bud. I appreciate it. So what else been going on with you with golf? It's been a
Well,
while.
it has been raining a lot here, so on tour I haven't been able to play that much. I played right now. It seems to be benefit golf season. This past weekend
Yeah.
I played in a Alzheimer's tournament. We had over
Okay.
100 players. It was awesome. I've played in a couple of those lately. So golf's been good. We're getting it in when the weather's been okay. Supposed to play again tomorrow, this weekend. So, and I've signed up for 2 tour events. We're having back-to-back single-day events here on the Golfweek Amateur Tour for Tidewater. So I'll be playing in those. So I'm really looking forward to those. Yeah.
That's awesome. You guys, Tidewater, Richmond, and DC did something really interesting a few weeks ago. Where you
Right.
played 3 days back to back to back. Tell us
Right.
about that.
Yeah.
Did you play in that?
Okay. So I'm always, I hate to make excuses for why I didn't play. We had a wedding that weekend. So
That's
we
all right.
were out of town. And then the only day I could have probably played was Monday, but I didn't end up playing on Monday. It was 2.5 hours from my house. So I didn't play in that. But the guys had a great time. And I think one of our players, Mike Hartzell, he's in the Champ Flight.
Yeah.
He won 2 days in a row in the Champ Flight. So that was really exciting. A lot of the guys on the Richmond tour used to be on our tour.
Right.
So some of our fields have gotten a little smaller because we can't fill 120 anymore. But that was a great event because we had all 3, like you said, all 3 tours combined. And a lot of the things that we've done, even with the DC tour, our players know their players. So
Right.
we talk about old friendships and everything. So it's like just a big old family together. Everybody's together and they get to see each other. And they had a great time for those 3 courses. Yep.
Yeah, and obviously Lau, I can't say enough good things about what Lau does. I mean, that's just across the board. Anything he touches turns out really well because he puts a lot of effort into it. Cephas is doing a great job in DC, but you know what? Sean Redmond has been a gem, an
Yeah.
absolute gem, and what he's doing in Richmond, and good on him, for the accomplishments that he's
Oh, yeah.
gaining. I mean, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, I lived in Richmond for about 5 years when I worked there, and I got some good golf friends up there, and 2 of them I know have joined that tour, so
Mhm.
it's been great, and they love it. They can't say enough about it, and they didn't know Sean previously, and they
Right.
said he's just such a fun guy,
He
and
is.
he does such fun stuff, and he's great to be around. He's like a happy guy, and
He is.
he makes you feel welcome and all that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm actually hoping I think he and Lyle are coming down to Fripp, I think this
oh,
coming weekend, and I'm
great.
looking forward to seeing them. If they're gonna be there, I'll be there on Sunday, looking forward to seeing them.
Great, yeah. It's a great event, yep.
So with all the rain, you obviously haven't been playing much, but what is that doing to the bunkers and the playability of the bunkers? What do you got? What do you got for us today?
So, funny you ask. So, so, some of these other tournaments I've been in, they've actually employed some of those rules that we used to have, like during COVID, you remember how we would
Mhm,
rake and place the ball?
mhm.
But, if that's not in play, then, a lot of times your ball could get in a bunker, and I'd like to go over the unplayable ball rule in a bunker.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
so I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing better feeling, or maybe you hit a 300-yard drive, that feels great, but making an up and down from a bunker. Oh yeah, I don't know about a 300 drive. I don't know what that is, but sure. But you hit it in a bunker, and you got a nice lie, and you hit it out of there nice, and your friends are all like, "Great shot," and maybe you make a bogey or a par, hopefully, and it's a great feeling. But a lot of times that's not going to be the case. Your ball gets in a bunker, it's way over near the lip, or it's dug into the bunker and it's soft sand and it's hard to get out. And sometimes your best option is to use the unplayable ball in a bunker option. And it's going to cost you a stroke or two, but I know, and maybe not with the champ flight, or some people's abilities in a bunker. You could be a D flight player or a champ player. You never know what you're going to do out of the bunker. But I have a couple of friends, and they just cannot get the ball. They just don't have the skill to get out of a bunker
Mhm.
when the ball is lying poorly in the bunker. And they'll take 3 or 4 strokes at it, and we're in a friendly match, and they'll just pick up because what are they going to do?
Right.
Yeah. And you feel bad for them, but on tour, if we don't have the rake rule or something like that, maybe your best option is to take the unplayable ball relief. Okay, so you have a couple of options, and mentioned before, for an unplayable ball, other than if you're in a penalty area, you can take an unplayable ball relief anywhere on the course other than a penalty area, and that includes a bunker. The rule is Rule 19, and it is a little bit different for bunker play, though, because for bunker play, if you're going to not use stroke and distance, your ball, when you take that drop for the 1 stroke penalty, has to remain in that bunker. So let me give you some examples. So you've hit the ball 250 yards off the tee, you're in the bunker, and you got to decide, what do you want to do? Do you want to use stroke and distance? Well, who knows? Stroke and distance, you go back 250 yards and you hit back into that bunker again. That's not going to be, or maybe you hit it out of bounds. You never know.
Right.
So maybe that's not your best option. You take stroke and distance, though, from, let's say you hit the ball into the bunker and you're only 20 yards behind that bunker. Well, there you still get only 1 stroke penalty, but you get to hit again from 20 yards behind that bunker instead of, like a 250-yard shot. So stroke and distance is always an option. That's your first option. You can also have lateral relief in the bunker, and that's where you drop laterally, no closer to the hole, but your ball must remain in that bunker, and lateral relief 2 club lengths. And then your third option for all of these are 1 strokes. Third option, and let's say it's wedged in the top of that bunker. There's no way you're going to get it out. You can go that back on the line relief within the bunker for 1 stroke. So you line up the pin with where your ball lays, and you can go all the way back in that bunker as far as you like, staying in the bunker, 1 stroke penalty. Okay, so those are your 3 1-stroke penalty options. But let's say none of those are good. You'd rather hit out of the bunker. You don't want to go back 250 yards, but you could go back on the line relief outside of the bunker within just a few yards. You can do that, but it's going to cost you 2 strokes. So you can take back on the line relief out of the bunker, but that's going to cost you 2 strokes. But for my friends who can't get the ball out of the bunker, and as much as they try, maybe that's the option they play.
Right.
Maybe they drop it 1 stroke, back on the line relief for 1 stroke. So just to recap there, you've got a couple of options. You've got 1 stroke, back on the line relief in the bunker. 1 stroke, lateral relief within 2 club lengths in the bunker. 1 stroke, stroke and distance, but you have to go back to where you originally hit it. So those are your 3 1-stroke options. And then for 2 strokes, back on the line relief outside of the bunker. Got it?
You got it. But now let me throw a wrinkle in here for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
So let's say, for example, you're behind the green and you're trying to chip up and you skull the ball across the green and it embeds on the back side of a bunker.
Okay. Another bunker. Yep.
Okay, right. And so instead of being on the front on the leading edge of the lip onto the green, it's on the back edge.
Right. And and you're saying it's unplayable then.
Yeah.
You're going to have a tough time.
Just pick up
Put it
your triple.
How'd you know that I already had a tough time doing it? I mean, because that did happen to me, and I'm not going to get into what happened. Yeah, this a while ago.
Okay.
It's not. I'm not going to tell you that I did the second topic that we're going to talk about today, but I was not very happy, and it.
Right.
It was
just take
difficult.
your triple and walk away.
So
yeah. So maybe your option, so maybe you're on that back edge and you're saying you can't even drop within that bunker there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your option is to go back and play from the original bunker. Because that's
that could have been
distance. Yep.
Yeah, but I was so mad that probably didn't.
Right.
I couldn't have even have thought that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
at that point,
Go ahead.
take your triple, tend the flag for everybody else, and call it a day.
Yeah.
I may have Happy Gilmore the flag. You never know.
There's a new Happy Gilmore coming out. Did you know that?
I do.
Okay, good. Yes. I saw some preview.
I saw the it was on full
Preview?
swing. Some of the filming with the pros, and I'm thinking that must have been such a fun day or days as a pro, doing those filmings with it. That must have been just hilarious. So
I've also been watching separate topic. I've also watched this new show with Owen Wilson called Stick on Apple TV. New golf series. So
is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. I think it's produced by the same people that did the soccer one.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Yeah, it's not as good as Ted Lasso, but it's still pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the highlights. I haven't watched any of it yet, but that is on my list to do.
Yeah. The thing about that unplayable, I think a lot of people forget about the stroke and distance option, and hopefully you're skilled enough to get out of the bunker, but
Mhm.
not everybody is. And, stroking distance, it's only going to cost you one stroke and you're getting to hit, if you hit out of a nice grassy area to begin with, it might be a better option.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna cost you a stroke to hit that shot out of the bunker, right?
Right.
So that's a stroke. If you choose not to take that stroke, it's not like you're adding a stroke to your score. Well, I mean, you are because you're taking a penalty stroke, but you're taking that stroke from the fairway plus the penalty stroke.
Right.
So, I mean, not the fairway, but
Wherever you were.
yeah, where the stroke and distance where you were. Yeah,
I mean, it
so
it could be a fairway.
yeah, could be the fairway exactly. Yep, yep. Um, so
So Roger, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but on the PGA Tour, there's been a lot of, or let's just say a fair amount of club throwing instances. There was one a few weeks ago where Wyndham Clark threw a club through
mm,
a sponsorship sign. There are
oh,
actually two club throwing incidents in that tournament. I forget which one it was. Um, there's been that one, and some of the reporting was because of the purses and the more money that's involved. That's causing more stress. And to me, that doesn't what it's whatever. I don't care what it is. But let's talk a little bit about what's number one. What's the actual USGA rules on club throwing?
sure. Well, first I'll say, shoot, I've thrown a club over $2, so I feel bad now. And I should say that. So we have this unwritten rule in our group. If you do something silly like that, have you ever, like, let's say you're a righty thrower, you have to take a golf ball and you have to throw it with the opposite hand or the club. Like you have to throw it like lefty, and you feel like such an idiot, and then you laugh about it. So that's our new unwritten rule. Like if you do something dumb like that, you got to throw it lefty the next time. So
Okay.
just try that next time. You'll see how silly it feels.
Someone will get hurt
Uh,
that way.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Throw your shoulder out. Yep. So things like that, throwing a club, whacking your club on the ground on a putting green and maybe damaging it. I refer to like cussing other players, fighting with other players. I mean, you've probably seen some of these crazy YouTube videos
Yeah.
where people fight and stuff, and even people they're playing with, and
Yes.
it's ugly. So that comes under the standards of conduct for within the uh, rules of golf, and that's in standards of conduct are in the rules book. And basically, it has to be something. I'm just going to read this because this one thing it's so removed from what is expected that a player could be DQ'd is justified. So it's so
Mm.
removed from what the normal golf position is that it justifies someone being disqualified. So if maybe just tossing a club in anger gently is not so removed. That's, you get mad. People get mad. We
Right.
understand that. Yelling at another player, hey, you talked in my backswing. Those are things that you can control. It's not that bad.
Right.
But let's say fighting. Let's say whacking your club again, damaging a golf cart with a club, like a club's golf cart, and like whacking it on the windshield, correct? Because I've actually seen that happen.
Mhm.
Something like is it damaging the putting green intentionally? Those could be grounds for an automatic disqualification. But if it's not as serious, most of the time what they ask what's done is the committee, and we're all the committee. Let's say you're the committee of your tour and Chris is the committee of his tour. You make a local rule. And most of the times you get one warning, and then from there, the committee will make a decision on what's the next step. Is it one penalty stroke? Is it the general penalty, which means 2 strokes in stroke play or loss of hole in match play? Or is it uh, disqualification? So let's say club throwing, you decide as the committee, we're not going to allow club throwing at all, 100%. You get a warning, then you get DQ'd. And you could make that decision and you put that, but that has to be written as a local rule.
Okay.
And if you don't have a local rule, then it falls under that standards of conduct. Is it justified in disqualifying someone?
Chris, what do you guys do?
Keep it under the table. My favorite's the over the tomahawk.
See, I understand.
See if we can stick it to the ground. No, I mean honestly, I don't think in our tour we don't have that issue. I see it more often in the fun rounds that we do, or the friendly matches where you see that happening for a quarter or whatnot. But on tour, I haven't seen anything to have to make a local rule. But I think we put on such a great tournament, and when I say we, I mean we as a whole golf week, to where it's kind of like an unwritten rule that people know. We take that serious, and we don't allow that around here. So yeah, I mean I haven't had to deal with it, but me personally on my practice rounds or fun rounds, the over the top is probably the best. So I can't go with just the left hand. That would
See,
Right.
see,
Yeah.
yeah.
you asked.
Well, it's funny. I had a friend who he tossed a club and it almost took me out. And he apologized. He just felt like a fool afterwards. And you just feel so silly afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
why did I? This is just golf, We
I-
love
I-
our golf, but we don't need to be doing that.
Right. I think the most that I've seen is usually on the tee box when their tee shot goes away, and then they swing a little harder on their tee and take it out on their tee. I think that's the most I've seen. Poor tees.
A couple years ago, one of the nicest guys we have on the Atlanta tour was having a bad day, and again, one of the nicest guys, funnest guys to play with, had a bad day, and he threw a temper tantrum, and he's a big guy, and he threw his ball. He wasn't paying attention where he threw his ball, and hit somebody right in the forehead.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't have too much of that on the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to deal with that, but it's
Yeah.
again it happens, but it doesn't happen very often. And
Right.
Again, it comes back to the culture that we built, and like Chris said, across the board, it's not something that we tolerate, not something that
Right.
we allow to happen. It's just not good. So
Yep.
Well, Roger, thanks again so much for joining us and giving us that great information.
One last thing.
Oh, go ahead. What do you got?
Got to show out my shirt here, my Oakmont shirt.
There you go.
On. Yeah, Oakmont. Sure, that's where they're playing this week. Yeah, so hopefully, so I found out in 2000. Oh shoot, not 27. So I worked Wingfoot in 2006, and I saw that it's going back there, and that's where I have some family up in New York.
Okay.
So U.S. Open week this week, I'm hoping to be able to get up there to work that event. I mean, I know it's a couple years away, but the U.S. Open's a really tough test of golf, that's for sure. And I'd love to go back and work that one again. And hopefully, I worked the U.S. Amateur there as a rules official.
Oh, wow.
I was there for the 2006 Open. And then I hope to go back again in a couple of years. I was just looking at where are the Opens coming up.
Right.
And Shinnecock Hills up and then
Oh yeah.
yeah, so hope to get up there for that.
Roger, well, if 2 tickets happen to fall out of your pocket and you need somebody to find them, I'm pretty sure me
I got
and Tim.
2 guys. Yeah.
Yep.
You got it. You're first on the list. Don't worry. Yeah. Because my kids who didn't show up for father, they're not coming.
They're
They're
out.
They're out. They're on the
Yep.
bottom list.
They're out. They're out.
Well, Roger, I don't know if you know this or not, but Joe Jaspers qualified for the U.S. Senior Open next week at Broadmoor.
Awesome.
Not next.
Or-
It's the 26th to the 30th. Of
Okay.
June.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
not this episode, but the next episode, we'll know if we have a U.S. Senior Open champ on our tour.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'll definitely check that out. Yep.
Yep. So again, Roger, again, thank you so much for what you do and spending some time with us. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you real soon.
Thank you guys. Keep those questions coming in.
You got it, bud.
Appreciate it.
All right. Later.
Thank you.
Let's take a break from the show to hear about Strixon's ZX Mark II irons.
A great iron set needs more than good looks. It's gotta be fast and gotta be pure. But good looks never hurt either. The all-new ZX Mark II irons from Srixon.
Tim, it's always great to talk to Roger. I mean, I can't believe it's been over a month or close to over a month that we've had him on, but rules are always something that's going to be part of this game.
Yep.
Whether you like them or not, or whether they benefit you or hurt you. Um, I had a rule come up from my champ flat guys about a ball being embedded in a tumbleweed, and he couldn't really identify it. But he thought it was his. He hit it out. Come to find out it wasn't his, and he goes back and it's maybe 10 paces to the left. So, the rules are always there. Not everybody knows them. At the time, I had to look it up and confirm that I was given the right ruling. But it's part of the game, and it's great to have somebody that we can lean on to get the correct ruling on it. I mean, this guy knows it like the back of his hand.
Yeah, and again, if you know the rules, you can use them to your benefit.
Right.
That's the other key. Is like Roger says all the time, it's not meant to punish you or hurt you. If you know the rules, a lot of times you can use them to your benefit. And just like he talked about today with the embedded ball rule in a bunker, know the rule, and you don't have to take 3 strokes at an embedded ball in a bunker. You can pull it out, take your drop, and move on from there.
Right.
It could be the difference between bogey and triple bogey. Could be 2 strokes.
Correct. And I mean, in our group chat between us three, we're always sending videos of, the USGA coming out with a video on explaining a rule or this and that, just to keep us fresh on what's going on. So, like you said, sometimes those rules benefit us. The cart path rules, hitting left-handed when you're a right-handed hitter. There's all these rules that you may not know about that, at the end of the day can help you and save your round.
Exactly. And don't throw clubs. Just don't throw clubs. Or balls, or hats, or glasses, or anything to other people. Just
Right.
Just be
Right,
normal.
but I'm telling you, tomahawk, best one. Get your stretch on your shoulders, stretching behind, and it goes straight up in the air or straight forward.
Oh God. See.
I'm a bad influence.
You are. And see, people are going to think that's the norm now, because Chris on the podcast is doing it. That means everybody can do it.
No. I said I only do it on friendly rounds when there's a little too much beverages around. Okay, that's when that Chris comes out. Tournament golf is different.
All right. Well, we had Roger and we had Ryan Nicholson on from the Indianapolis Tour. Again, we had some really good nominations for the month of May. And, Dennis's feedback was something that you and I had talked about the month before. Because we look at it, and you and I talk about it, but, we're not the ones who make the decisions. But the write-up is important. And when Dennis saw it, and his feedback to us was how important that write-up was to his decision-making. It's important.
Right.
Now, before we go into this, what I wanted, one thing before I forget is, I really liked your email to your players with the player spotlight.
Appreciate it.
You did a really nice job of that, and bring Lyle up. Lyle always does a really good job, and Lyle's the one who does the graphic for the player of the month.
Right.
He did one that was really nice, and when I sent him an email, told him that I liked it, he said, "Well, if you want, I'll do the graphic for that." I said, "No, just keep doing the graphic the way you're doing it. I just want to let you know that I thought you did a good job with that." I mean, everything he does, all of his graphics are really good. He's really, really good at that. But
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know how true this is. Maybe it's just, maybe I'm in my head with this. Is that some of these things that we're doing are elevating what local tour directors are doing in highlighting their players.
For sure. I mean, like, I can't take the credit. I got it from the Arizona tour when they started it. I didn't even know Lyle was doing it for his. Um,
Mhm.
so I kind of, they put it in the group chat, and I kind of said, "Hey, that's a great idea. I'm stealing it."
Mhm.
And once I posted it out, I'm not kidding, 10 text messages asking why they were not the first. Um,
What had to be Jordan.
it had to be somebody, right? And when your assistant texts you, asks you why he's not first, I told him, because you work for me.
So,
You're not a member. An assistant director.
and if you keep it up, I'm gonna make you do it for everybody. So
Right. But no, I do think it elevates us. It challenges me when I see the tours around me do
yeah,
more social media, because then it's like, okay, what can I do?
right.
I want my guys to be able to have things to post out,
Mhm.
because they like to brag on themselves. Plain
Yeah.
and simple. Golfers like to
Well,
brag, especially
go
when they
back to
win.
what Trey told us. When we were in Louisiana last year, he said,
Mhm.
if you involve people, they want to hear other people talking about them,
Right.
and they want to talk about them. And
Right.
it's not that's not a knock on anybody. That's just human nature. But Trey was spot on, and you're right. They want to brag on it. Here's another for example. We had a tournament, and I had my granddaughter with me last week, and I took her back, and I hadn't posted the pictures yet on Monday. Tournament was Saturday. I hadn't posted pictures yet on Monday, and one of the guys who got his first win of the year, he said, "You're going to post these pictures anytime soon," um, and and he did it with a laughing emoji.
Right.
So I mean, it's just the way he was. I was like, "Oh my god, man!" And I took it the way that it was meant. I didn't take any offense to it, but that's it. They want to see it, and they want to
Yes.
post it, and they want to brag on themselves, and they want all those things, and good on them for doing it as well. So it does elevate us. It does make us, not only as from the podcast, but also from individual tour directors. It makes us work more to keep up with um, what the players want.
For sure. For sure. I mean, and there's always different ideas to do,
Yeah.
like you mentioned Trey and Louisiana, they do their pre-tournament podcast. It takes time, man. It takes time. We tried to do it last year, and trying to get all that organized
Mhm.
is crazy. It is
Yeah.
crazy, but I think when you do it, it does elevate it. When you don't do it and you have done it in the past, then members ask,
What are you doing?
where is it? Why hasn't it been done?
Yeah. Why are you
Um,
slacking off, dude?
right,
Do
right.
your job.
And I just can't wait. I enjoy every year, because every year you find something that someone else does, um, and you're just able to
Yeah.
elevate
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, and that's what it's about for us, and our players in the tour. But
For sure.
let's run through the other nominations again. All good nominations. Um, I'll start. We had one from the Mississippi tour, and this is I would like to nominate Ronnie Averett. Ronnie's been around for a while. He's a longtime member of Golfweek and Senior Tour, always willing to help, always recruiting, and is playing on our tour just about every weekend, and that's true. Ronnie is all over the place. He plays regionals, local tournaments, and he plays both national championships. Uh, and again, Ryan's been around for a while, and does a great job in promoting the tour, and getting members from Mississippi. So, Ronnie, keep it up, bud, and looking forward
Yeah,
to seeing you. Hopefully, we'll see you at a regional, and or national championship.
definitely. We also got another one from the Nashville tour. And this is, I guess this is where you bring up write-ups are very important. A-flight player Matt Warren, longtime player, very competitive, always a voice of reason, and always helps to recruit players. Loves Hilton Head.
Yeah. And again, I'm not knocking anybody. I mean, that's not on Matt. I mean, it is what it is. But
Right.
Again, when you compare that right up to Ryan's or the next one I'm getting ready to read, it may take a couple extra minutes, but the presentation of it and the write up of it is really important. That go back to what Tyler did with Albert Delamar out of St. Louis. Tyler did a really good job with that. Had
Right.
a nice graphic. I mean, he did a really, really good job with that. And let's put it this way, I'm not knocking at any winner or anybody, but I was surprised that Albert didn't win just based on that write up. Not that Mike Cobb wasn't deserving, because he was, right? But I mean, that write up was phenomenal. But anyway,
It
that's not
helps when it comes down to the wire,
yes,
and
absolutely.
and Dennis has to decide who to pick.
Mhm.
Like that, the extra wording helps.
Yeah. So here's the last submission for May. This comes from Tampa, and the nominee is Mike Horn. And what Shane wrote was, this is the write up we did about him in one of our recent newsletters. So he was a player spotlight for Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
It says back in 2023, Mike Horn won a tournament and never expected what happened next. 2 years and 47 tournaments later, this player found his next win. Wow. During the time in between, he started to doubt himself and wonder if this game was for him. He knew he couldn't quit because he was teaching his 2 kids how to never give up on something you love to do. So he kept pushing forward regardless of the outcome. We've all been there. Keep pushing forward and love the game, because life is too short to give up. Mike always helps us at tournaments with unloading the truck, setting up, or whatever is needed. He's always sharing a Facebook post to other golf Facebook pages in order to help grow our tour. He always has people that want to play with him, but he remains neutral and plays with whoever he is paired with. Plays in all other tours tournaments. Goes and checks out courses for us prior to a tournament when we do not have time to do so. He deserves to be chosen for all the reasons stated above. And that's a good write-up, because it really kind of gets into, again, some of the things that we've talked about, who our ideal member is.
Right. I mean, I've had members that have gone through the same thing. I think Jordan went 3+ years without winning a tournament and just kept. I mean, he didn't miss a tournament, kept persevering, trying to get there, and when he finally got one, it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Mike as well.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was tough between him and Ryan, and it comes down to how your directors view you and see you as a member, and kind of a spokesperson for the tour itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say all the nominees were deserving of being chosen, but good on Ryan, good on Amal. And I think Amal is absolutely correct that having somebody chosen out of the 47, 48 tours from your tour being member of the month, it does look good for your tour.
For sure.
Absolutely does.
For sure.
So get your nominations in for the month of June. Because we already have 4. Or was that 5? January, February, March, April. We already have 5. So we only have 3 left. June, July, and August. So get your nominations in by July the 5th. And looking forward to see who the June winner is. It's gonna be fun.
It will be. I can't wait.
It's gonna be awesome. So what do you got going on? I know you got some tournaments. I mean, you got a busy. Like you got a busy
summer.
30 days.
Yeah.
Well, the countdown's on for you. You're 30 days. You're under 30 days, right? You're
Yeah.
right at 31 days.
I
somewhere.
could probably ask my son and he'd tell you exactly how much, but it's getting close. let's see, we got head out to go to Sedona, Arizona for a golf tournament there. Come back, have a weekend off, then go back to Arizona for our 2 Bach tournament. Come back, have a local tournament, and then I leave to Hawaii for 10 days. Play some golf up there. Can't wait.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
And people
Do
keep
some
asking.
surfing.
I've never surfed.
They'll teach you.
Do you think my round body would?
Yes,
Yes.
do it.
I'll give it a try. I'll probably fall on my ass, but I'll give it a try.
That's okay. Try it. I mean, seriously. Just do it. Literally, just do it. When we went out there, so we went out there. Oh, this is probably 15 years ago, I'd say.
1900s.
Oh my God! Why you gotta be this way? I'm trying to tell you something.
It's because the other day in the car, I asked my wife, let's play some 90s summer hits playlist that popped up. She's like, yeah, that'd be great. And then my youngest, from the 1900s? That's too old. And I was
Oh
like,
my
wow.
God!
I
That's
mean,
messed
you're
up.
not wrong, but
That is messed up.
they're funny, man. Kids are funny.
So let me just show this to you real quick here. Let's see
Oh,
here.
yeah, while you pull that up, I mean, we're gonna rent some UTVs that I get to drive. We're
Okay.
gonna go into the mountains area. They have like a little tour where they film Jurassic Parks. Oh, snap.
Huh?
All right, if you can do it, I'll do it.
See?
I was thinking the big wave that like went over my head and all that. No, this is a kiddie pool.
See? Oh, just so you know, that's AI. That was an AI picture. Although I'm not gonna lie, when we went out there, again, we went out there. It was probably 15 years or so ago. We did go surfing. Jen went surfing. They'll teach you. You need to do it because it's fun, but it's hard work. I mean, it's
Oh, I'm
not
pretty
easy.
sure.
It is not easy.
It's a bunch of
you should
leg
do
and
it.
core.
Oh my gosh! And so we were there in January. It was January we were there, and we probably only did it for maybe 45 minutes tops. And when we were done, I was so dehydrated, had a headache.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even drink, the daiquiri up at the pool afterwards. I had my head hurt so bad. I had to.
I believe it.
I mean,
People
couldn't
forget
even drink.
that it's
It's like,
harder. Like when you're by the ocean or you're on the
yeah.
ocean, you dehydrate a lot quicker because just the way the sun hits off the ocean
Yeah.
gets you. I believe it.
So, but give it a shot. Oh man!
I'll have pictures to show. I'll send you pictures. I can't
All right,
wait. I'm super excited. I got a Royal Hawaiian Golf Club. I have a
Okay.
610 tee time. First one to go out by myself.
Okay.
That's gonna be.
You take the boys with you?
I'm gonna offer it to them, see if they want to go. But the views are gonna be spectacular. They say at that time.
Okay, so I'm not gonna tell you anything, but what you need to tell them is it's not an option. Come on,
Just
get up,
come
we're
on.
going.
Let's go.
Just we're going. Just get sleep in your clothes, whatever. But we're going. Because again, those are things that you're. It's not like you can do it again next week.
Right.
So, but anyway, you got a busy time coming up, and I mentioned in the opening that how the podcast has evolved and some of the things that it's done for us, and how it's kind of changed the way how we get through the year with the tour, and it really is funny. I with the other podcasts I do, I do guesting on it, and people interview me and that type of thing. And we were actually talking about this podcast and um, the podcasting journey, how I've grown, how we've grown, how both of the podcasts have grown. And I told him, if you go back and listen to our first episode, it's nothing like it is now.
No.
The quality of the sound. I think we're both much better interviewers. The show has a lot more direction to it, and it just feels a heck of a lot different. And when we made the decision to go from just audio to video, we should have just been doing video. I wouldn't say right from the start, but almost right from the start.
I brought it up. I think
did.
it elevates us.
It did, it does. Every time we do it. The downside to that is, before when we would travel, if we were just doing audio, it was no big deal.
Right.
Now when we travel, we have something going on. Like both of us do, and mainly you. It's not as simple as just take the microphone and the
Hop on.
soundboard.
Right. Right.
We got other things we have to think about. But that's those are good things. It's great, and
It's fun, man. It's
It
fun
is.
to just get people on the camera, and
Mhm.
people say that they're nervous, but you can't tell that they're nervous talking to us.
No.
I think we have you and me have too much fun doing it to where
Yeah.
it relieves the nervousness from everybody else.
Mhm. Exactly. By the way, having too much fun. Dennis had a tournament almost right by my office last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and hadn't seen him in a while. He's got that all the stuff that he's got going on. So I just
Right.
as I was heading into my office, I figured I'd just go check in and say hi, and ran into the mayor, saw him,
Of
which
course.
was good.
He'd
good
better
seeing
be there.
him. Yeah, he was there. Saw a couple of the other guys, and again, it's good to see them, and it's also good to know that they're listening, because that's how they recognize us.
Right.
That's how they recognize me, and uh, and I know you do it. I appreciate the support from all our members. It's great, and
Yeah.
that's why we do it. We do it for them anyway.
I mean, when I was out at the Ohio regional, handful of people, hey, you look familiar. Where do I know you from? Podcast. Oh yeah, that's right. You're on the logo, this and that. So, or Dennis introduced me to people, and oh yeah, this is the co-host from the podcast. Like not even tour director, just co-host from the podcast. So it's fun and it's nice, and like you said, we interview so many people throughout the year, or we've interviewed. I'd be curious to know how many people we've actually interviewed at all these places, because when we go to nationals and I go to my tournament, it's like 5, 10, 15 guys, people that notice and recognize.
Exactly. It's fun, and we enjoy it. So we got the raffle for the clubs.
Yep.
Venmo.
Still on.
Put all that in the show notes, and next time we talk, it'll be almost July.
Jeez. Don't say that.
Hey, it is what it is.
I'll be going to
So
Two
here's
Rock.
the thing. Let's remember this. Okay, next time we talk, we have to put in our notes, our show prep notes. Happy 4th of July.
Will do.
Because it was belated Happy Father's Day. It's also belated Happy Flag Day. Flag Day and Father's Day were on the same day this year. I don't know if you celebrate Flag Day. My family has been celebrating Flag Day for years. I don't know if you could hear that, but Jen's on the other side of the curtain over there laughing. That's kind of an inside joke for my youngest daughter. But anyway, it's all good things, man.
That's always. It is
Definitely.
always.
You take care of yourself, best of the family.
Likewise.
And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye, bud. See ya. All right, that's a wrap for this week's episode. But Chris, after all this time, you would think we would remember this stuff.
We forgot to tell people how to register, didn't we?
Yep. Take it away.
Well, if you're not already part of the Golfweek Amateur Tour, what are you waiting for? Grab your clubs, join the fun, and see what competitive golf is all about. You can sign up today and start meeting some incredible folks who love the game as much as you do.
All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership dues.
And hey, don't forget, if you're enjoying the podcast, you can catch us on all of the major podcast platforms. Be sure to download, share it with your golf buddies, and throw us a quick review if you're feeling the love. It helps us keep bringing you the good stuff and reaching even more golfers out there. Thanks for hanging with us, and until next time, keep swinging and having fun out there.
We'll see you next time. Take care.